The best thing is, when you're saying about most traders do it manually, instead of saying doing a bar replay, we can turn into hard rules into code. And then instead of taking weeks to do a year's worth of data, we do it in a second.
The analysis that you've brought in, someone that was completely green, had no idea what a candlestick was, and you can speak honestly, to say that is the truth. We're not making this up. But you've brought in your knowledge, education, the math, the data science, and packaged it up, and it's absolutely brilliant. I'm thrilled.
Welcome back again, another pod, third one of the day. So hopefully the last one.
You're getting used to this now.
Yeah, I know, we're semi-pros now at this. This is a new style, because usually we're talking kind of more founder-led of, where we are, the vision, what we're bringing out, releasing, etc. But we've brought Sebastian in, because and we spoke very highly of you on the last pod, as we do in person as well. But Seb, you're the head quant of Alpha Prime, and you've really flourished in your role and in your own development as being a quant, and JJ can talk a lot more to that.
Vision of what we wanted to deliver to traders has already surpassed. It's amazing. But I wanted to showcase your skills, what we've already done so far with some of the traders, and then leading ahead with the business, kind of creating a business around you. The analysis that you've brought in, someone that was completely green, had no idea what a candlestick was, and you can speak honestly, to say that is the truth. We're not making this up. You've never traded, but you've brought in your knowledge, education, the math, the data science, and packaged it up, and it's absolutely brilliant. I'm thrilled, and I know I speak on behalf of how many traders have we got automated? 5?
Yeah, 5 or 6 now.
5 or 6
fully
automated, data-driven trade systems.
And it's all been delivered by you. You're very precise. You're very drilled in on what they need. And what they're looking for, and then we've also learnt a lot, and sprinkling on a little bit of extra Alpha Prime magic dust.
There's not many places, I don't like to use the term retail or pro-tail, let's say pro-tail traders, successful traders in their own right that have figured out an edge in their spare room, spare time, whatever it is, alongside another 9 to 5, to then have access to sit down with someone like Sebastian that can back test 5 years, 10 years, optimize, tweak. You either need to no code or pay a coder or use an extremely expensive system. There's not many retail.
We've done all the investing.
Accessible.
Buying the data is very, very expensive. I mean, to buy data from CME, there are no deals. No. It's very expensive. So we've gone back close to 20 years.
Even the systems we have to use that you operate on are not cheap.
So then we're using the best system, which provides us with a back tester, which Sebastian, I have zero knowledge on.
Sometimes I look over at your screen, it's got a page of code one day. Python, Java.
I don't have any regrets, but I wish that I was smart enough to be coding like Sebastian is. It's mind blowing. But with the system comes the back tester. It needs to be coded. Sebastian writes the code. It then runs the system to see if it's any good, but then there's also the cherry on the top is the optimizer, which will then say, okay, your strategy is great on a 15-minute, but have you tried looking on a 5-minute, a 9-minute, adding in this, different adding in that?
Have you looked at oil or platinum or something they've not, because manually backtesting and optimizing the strategy takes a lot of time. Or some of the systems that are accessible to all traders are like a bar replay thing where you can rewind it to a period in time, press play, but then you have to manually and then you still have the element of human error, human emotion. You manage it slightly different this hour to how you do it next hour, because you've been doing it for 3 hours. Whereas the benefit to machine learning and AI and all of this stuff is it removes the human error and human emotion, and it's a binary outcome that you can
as a
tweak.
test. A lazy afternoon, I said to Sebastian, right, okay, let's just code something up. Let's just see what happens. So I just picked on a doji candle on a 5-minute chart in the NASDAQ
Yeah.
and just said, right, now you add your optimizing and let's just see what it delivers.
Like?
And he came up with 4 or 5 different rules, criteria that it had to
on
top of just being a doji. It had to be the lowest doji or the highest doji candle for the last minimum of 14
15 bars.
14, 15 bars.
Yeah.
Then we added in some RSI hurdles that needed to meet the criteria, and then some other bits. I won't go too much into it. But then we look at the last 6 months, and with very, very low risk, it's delivering a really good return.
Yeah.
And that was just a flippant idea. So it became a strategy. And that's how good he is. So that's what I want to keep pushing out, that's what traders need. They need to be emotion free.
Yeah.
Don't beg the market to go back up.
No.
There's a reason where it's going.
Then you remove the revenge trading and the bias of you think the market's good. You're not. The market's always right. Whether you have a bias,
can't stop it.
Yeah, it's not. If it hits your stop and you think, "Fuck, I am right. It is going to go down." But you know, I'll get in again here. And the machine learning follows strict rule based.
Yeah. I think the best thing is, you know, when you're saying about most traders do it manually or using bar replay, so that can take them like days or weeks, or months even. But if we can kind of like work with the trader to turn their kind of like their subjective intuition into more like objective rule-based strategy, instead of saying doing a bar replay, we can turn into hard rules into code, and then instead of taking weeks to do a year's worth of data, we do it in a second. You know,
I think also some misconceptions about algo trading or backtesting or machine learning is that you can't do market structure, so you can only use if it's, you know, indicators and something simplistic, etc. But that's false. Like you code up market structure, you know, high highs, you know, write out how to identify higher highs and lower highs, etc., and all different types of markets. So that's as manual. Any trading strategy can be backtested. Any market structure that you use and identify, like all these ICT concepts or whatever it is, whatever buzzword.
You may identify at 8 a.m. in London, XYZ happens in the market, and I see it 2 or 3 times a week. We can look for that.
Yeah.
We now have
to find it over years and then refine that.
We can look for it and find it.
And
monetize it.
Yeah, every idea can be turned into code, you know, albeit some certain differences, but the skeleton of the strategy is still pretty much the same as it in code, and it just takes away that type of manual aspect. You know, the trader can't say, "Oh, you know what? On this trade, I would have not stopped it here. I would have maybe waited for a little bit, and then it's gone up." But you know, a program can't do that. It's stuck at that point. And then rather than say, you know, it's been working for the past month, let's look at it for the past 10 years, or let's look at it in 2020, and let's see how it's done. And then you can kind of see, oh, you know what? Maybe it's not working that well.
Yeah.
And then we kind of adapt it, you know, add things in. So I think, like
various moving averages, different
you know, different confluences that
and also a lot of the charting packages come with ready-made templates.
Yeah.
And it's changing those time frames, or changing the looking at a 9-minute moving average, change it to
12. 15.
Just you know, adapting. But I think so far in the opening 6 months of Alpha Prime, it's a dream come true already.
It's been a really good proof of concept that I think we've achieved more in the first 6 months than we're further ahead in the first 6 than I thought we would be.
And I'm sure that if we were to bring in a couple of the traders or contact a couple of traders for a little bio, I'm sure that we would have blown it out of the park.
And if I look at Alpha Futures competitors that have live programs, because Alpha Prime is a successor is the Alpha Futures live program. The reason we separated it and didn't keep it under Alpha Futures is because it's its own standalone entity, where it's not a competitor live program. Might as well be a personal account. Like they might as well just pay out whatever it is, and then the trader just goes and deposits it, you know, Think or Swim, Charles Schwab, Think or Swim, and just trade away, because there's no other infrastructure. Whereas you go from futures to prime, you trade at prime, then you write down your strategy, speak to yourself, then sit down with yourself, Seb, and then, like you said, there's 6 people that are fully automated.
An onboarding pack, so it's going to make it easier for the trader to then converse with Sebastian, because not everyone speaks, and I don't use this term lightly. Not everyone speaks geek.
Yeah.
They just see things and they're making money.
But as long as you can write as simplistic as a piece of paper, I'm looking for this, and when this happens, this is what I look to do. That's all you need, really.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm the bridge between, say, these discretionary traders and a machine. You know, I'm just helping them formulate
put
ideas
it into
and then
the
put
machine.
it into code, and then I think that's kind of like I'm acting as a bridge, which really helps the trader.
Yeah,
and I think also helps improve them as an actual trader as well, because it helps them think about, you know, am I just looking for a wiki candle, or is there certain rules to this candle? You know, should the body be 20% of the total range? So it helps them to kind of think
a little bit deeper about
I kind of see this in the market. I see A, B, C. So I think it helps them just grow as a trader as well. So a lot of traders, like Ben, for example, just saying, it's completely changed his way how he trades. You know,
it's fully automated.
Let's talk about Ben as an example then, like from what it was at the start, from, you know, his napkin, you know, market structure. This is what I look for. To, you just said there, it's changed the way he looks at his strategy. Now he is fully automated. Like, let's use that as a story. Don't have to go too in depth on what his strategy is, of course, but talk a little bit more.
I think one thing, especially, so a lot of traders come, for example, Ben, they trade on the 1 minute scale, or like 1 second or 2 seconds, just because they're staring at the screen and they want to trade quickly, get a quick profit, get out, for example. Whereas with the bot, it can trade on the 50-minute time scale, because you don't need to watch it. It will just, it fires in the take profit, stop loss. You don't need to worry about it. It's just running 23.5. You know, you just don't need to maintain it in a way. But then, so what we found is that sometimes trying to get the fill price that he wants, you know, because with backtesting or with trading strategies, you got to be really careful for look ahead bias.
Yeah.
So, for example, you know, you have to wait for a candle to close.
Yeah.
And then you got to buy in at, say, the next candle, or set a limit price. So if you're using any data on the current candle, that's going to cause skew results in a way.
Because it already knows what...
Yeah, exactly. So you need to offset basically all your trading strategies to the previous bar. So a lot of traders don't do that. They'll just say, when I see this, buy in exactly this price. But you can't buy in at the same candle bar. Even like we had some trouble with that.
Yeah.
Like you can't say, once this crosses over here, let's buy in, because when does that happen?
Yeah.
You need to wait for it to close. You need to wait for the high, but the high is only known after the candle. So you're doing a 5 minute candle, you can only buy in after 5 minutes. You're doing a 1 minute candle, there's a lot of noise. So trying to understand that you need to offset it, you know, change Ben's way of thinking. And then, so a lot of times we had a look at it, didn't work out, went back to the drawing board. So there's a lot of collaboration with the traders as well, which is really helpful. And I think
you're not doing everything.
Yeah, no, I think they learn as well as we.
Well, it's their idea, and like you said, it's forcing them to rethink further into, okay, well, when I see that, why do I see, or what made me think that this is what I see, and then you look deeper and deeper.
Within one candle, there's a lot of
psychology, there's a lot of information
that's gone on within that candle, and you're looking at a 15-minute timescale. When you break it down, there's 15 1-minute candles in there. They've all got their own unique psychology of what's going on in the market. So we're just helping them develop that. Okay. Like I said, that some guys are now fully automated, and they just like, let it go. I love it. Let's see where we
think of a new idea.
We'll speak to you next month. We'll speak to you in 6 months. That's fine. Whatever they want to do. Going forward, there's some big new developments to come, as we always promise at Alpha. We've already started interviewing to hire a number 2, and then potentially at this rate
building out
the
quant desk. I think that's a huge advantage for what we can offer, and also just the ability to build. I mean, how much of the global market is algo traded? Like the big banks, the big hedge funds, the big firms.
At Citadel or BlackRock, they've got one layer of bots followed by another layer, followed by another layer, and you know.
And that's what you're competing with, like
£1 billion.
Yeah, and the majority of the market trades are automated. They're algos, they're bots, they're faster, they're quicker, they're emotion free. There's an edge there that you can refine and optimize. And as a manual trader, that's what you're competing against at the end of the day.
It's not necessarily always to be the fastest, but being emotion free helps you digest everything. You can have a bad day, you trusted the system, you trusted the process, you can still sit at the table and eat your dinner and say, okay, it didn't work today. Tomorrow will be fine. Where if you're emotionally involved, one more go, one more try, please let it turn around. So it eradicates all of those issues. And then when you have a good day, you get a double pat on the back to say, well, I developed that, I built that, And
it's firing away.
Good. We were high-fiving in the office yesterday with a new bot that went live, and instantly
straight away first
trade winner. We're like, yes, that's perfect. You know, and there's so many different dynamic strategies: trend reversal, trend following, mean reversion. You know, it's endless.
Yeah, and there's also so much hidden layers to a strategy as well. You know, rather than just seeing the surface level, the market structure, you know, the candlesticks, there's all these hidden indicators. You know, you got the RSI, you got the ATX, you got the Donchian channels that many traders don't even think about.
Yeah,
that's kind of like what
kind
of quants
the additional strength.
You know, you can kind of say, hey, look, why don't you kind of look? Because if you think about strategy, right, I think there's kind of 4 key things you want to diversify it. So like you kind of want to look at the structure, look at price action. You kind of want to look at kind of volume indicators, volatility, like average Q range, and then like trend momentum, like RSI moving averages. So you have kind of like one of them and like a figure in each pie has diversified strategy. So you're looking at each dimension of the market. It helps to make a proper complete strategy. So I think that's kind of, once we get the skeleton, like building it is kind of the fun part. You're adding these different points to it. And then that's what makes a fully, you know, self-contained strategy that then can be launched live. And I think that's kind of like the journey that I go with traders, kind of add into it, but being careful not to add too much. Because then if you add too much, the big problem is with
you've overworked it.
You start curve fitting, and then you're spending all this time just for a strategy that will.
It's a dud, and sometimes that is it, and you have stopped on some, and you know they take. You know, some have taken you a month, some have taken you 3 months. Sometimes you're a month in, this isn't going to work. Like we've got to go back to draw. There has to be a point. Like you have to remove the bias and like
you can't make everything.
No,
but you might be able to add in 2 strategies into one.
Yes, and then you start combining different ideas, and you think, that's twist.
So we're permanently remodeling and rethinking to help the traders. The only goal within the business is to help the traders make more money.
And keep building a team around Seb.
Make more money. There's no resistance from us at all. There's no hurdles. You know, and that's the only way that we'll survive is by helping traders make more money.
Yes.
And also with that in mind, we're also developing in the back end is My Alpha.
So My Alpha is I'm really excited for My Alpha. Like really, really excited because everything that we've just discussed for the past 10-15 minutes about backtesting, optimizing, you know, the shortcuts to refining a manual trading strategy, and then, you know, what's out there for your everyday trader to go and use, either, you know, a CQG integrated clients, what, $2,000 a month, something like that. Or how much is
it's more? It's more. It's crazy.
Thousands.
Once you add in all the market access and the data feeds.
And there's a lot of problems within the back end as well.
But also, you have to be you have to be a quant, a coder. You have to know Python, or it's got its own language, doesn't it? So even if you're a native Python coder,
a mismatch of like
and Python. So it's not accessible to all. Like there's a huge learning barrier to start using these professional systems.
Very low percentage,
and we know that, but we also have seen the power of, okay, well, once you can harness the backtesting and optimize what you can improve and do off the back of that. And then, you know, we was talking in the office, okay, well, what else is out there for your everyday trader to go and do this without sitting down with yourself for 2 months? Because there's only so many Sebs and only so many hours in the day. It's still not enough. So My Alpha is that's where the idea was born. It's a typical analytics, journaling, you know, tracking platform.
It's all in one package.
Awesome tech, but awesome tech, but that's not the revolutionary part. The analytics, the journaling is awesome, and we put a lot of time and effort into making that. It's paramount. But the cherry on the cake, the icing on the cake, is the backtesting module that we've built, and you're a part of the team that are building that. So, you know, and it's being built by yourself, who's using a backtest optimizer, a very expensive, a very good one, and you're building with the tech team a version of that is accessible for all at a good price. It's not going to cost everyone thousands of quids a month. And you don't need to be a coder, or you don't need to. The code's in the background, and for everyone, and it's in a node format where it's it's visually easy to look at. It's easy to see. Okay, this is what I'm trading. This is my confluences for entry. How I'm going to manage
really nicely to give to give you an end result. To say, yeah, you're onto something.
But the end result is what you're doing in your day-to-day job. Is back testing over 5 years, futures, FX. You know, we bought all the market data, historical data for it to kick out a back test and then build out the optimizer, which might be V2, where it's the ideas you've got for the optimizer are even more so than what we've currently got on the system that you use. So we're trying to build a better one than what you're using in your everyday role. So, I mean, maybe you could talk a bit more about the actual backtest engine that we're building there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like the next generation quant infrastructure, to be honest. Like, it's really exciting what it can offer to the traders. Like you said, it's kind of a node architecture. So it's to build a strategy, it's kind of drag and drop. So it's nice and easy as blocks. You know, it's easy for the trader to build it. You know, you can drag and drop. You can put hours to it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, really easy to see how the strategy's been built up. And then, to backtest it, I would say is like really seamless. So, you know, you kind of got your strategy and then, you know, it goes really fast. You can do like on multi-assets, which a lot of platforms don't use. You can do it on huge amounts of data as well, like looking for good data, which a lot of, especially futures contracts, are a big misconception in a lot of platforms. So with futures contracts, for example, they trade over certain months, so they expire
and then
a new contract start and then they jump. So what a lot of platforms do is they just stitch them together without any kind of
continuation. They don't smooth the roll of the contract.
So what that can mean is that if you're in a position at the end of the contract, you can make, say, 10k profit, which just wouldn't happen.
But that wouldn't happen in real life.
It's not real.
And then it was like, wow, I just got crazy strategy. And then
but when you put it live and contract rolls, and like, oh fuck, why did that not work?
Yeah, exactly. And then another big thing is commissions as well. You know, if it's doing well, then you add commissions and then it's just not working anymore.
Yeah, and then you go, my edge is gone.
Exactly.
Because of costs.
You're losing.
Yeah.
And then another big thing, which a lot of platforms don't use, is slippage. You don't really realise until you start live trading. Like one of my traders just got slipped $1,000 on news.
Yeah.
You just don't think of that.
Which was CPI last? No, not
the first government news last week.
Yeah,
Here's Trump.
After the lockdown, but I mean, his stop was in. It was no fault of anyone. So there was a gap in the market, low volatility, low liquidity, and unfortunately, he paid the price for it.
Yeah,
you have to factor that slippage into the trading program.
Yeah, and it's important to mention that what we're doing every day at Prime. Your main goal is building and optimizing strategies and building algos, etc. The My Alpha backtesting module is something that everyone can use, but has been built to the level whereby hopefully we transition to use that it's more accurate, it's got more capability than what we're currently using, and it's we're using a premium.
The beauty is it's
system, but we're trying to
traders.
There's definitely
and data scientists.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think
that know what
we're building. Yeah,
I mean,
it's for a specific.
We went into it with clear aim, to be trader friendly. This drag and drop, this node architecture, and then also to be fully AI integratable.
Yeah.
So future proof as well. So I think that's like the beauty of it. So once you start backtesting the idea, once you've got these indicators, for example, the moving average, say certain parameters, say the period you're looking back, then you can optimize it. So you can say, hey, look, let's see how it performs from say 10 to a period of 10 to 100, and then a step of 1, and see how it performs on each of these different periods, and then get a full report, see which is best. But then say you have some more indicators, say you have another moving average, say you're looking for a certain crossover.
So a lot of people use like fanning. Let's say you're fanning, you're using a 9, 15, 21 and a 30. The fanning on the moving averages, which a lot of people understand and a lot of people won't understand. But some people don't monitor the size of the gap in the fan. They're just looking for the crossovers to have occurred in the moving averages, and then they think, that's a buy.
Yeah.
But we're waiting for that extra confidence to say, no. They
can dive as deep and as specific.
It's a deep dive.
Yeah.
It's a real deep dive.
Big thing as well. You can look at ATR points, the width as well. You can add in. Then you need to work out the particular threshold. So there's a lot of things that go into it. And with My Alpha, the benefit is with machine learning, as you touched on. It's going to be a really smart method on how you can find the most optimal parameter sweeps.
Yes.
Like really quickly as well. So instead of spending you know, like how we would have done back in the day, a bar replay. Let's look at 10, look at 15, like a whole day's gone by.
Yeah.
You just say, let's do this parameter sweep, 5 minutes. You can see what the best outcome is. And then you got a whole report, and you can see how it kind of performs as well.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things as well, which a lot of things don't do, which I think is really exciting, is trying to classify regime changes. So there's a certain way you can do it using these Markov chains, and you can basically try and figure out mathematically where a market is changing its regime. So looking for, like I said, a bear or bull market, a ranging market, or a trending market. So instead of, say, you backtest over 5 years and you just get one report, you see one equity curve, or what's going to be really cool is you basically can split the data depending on the market regime. So you can say, hey, look, this strategy is performing really well in, say, a ranging market, and it's performing awfully in kind of a trending market. So why not adapt the strategy? So you can say, you know what, in a trending market, let's downscale the strategy. So let's risk half the equity. And in a ranging market, let's risk double the equity. Because that's what it's shown in the past 5 years. So that's going to be a really cool feature. And I think as like large language models improve, I think what's going to be really cool, still a work in progress, it's like a self-learning parameter. So in your strategy, instead of just having, say, I want a period of 10 for moving average, you say change this to this self-learning node. So basically, as it's moving through the market,
it's learning from the information.
It's learning from what's changing. So Trump tweets, it's learning what this means, and then it's like a self-sustaining strategy. So then, the aim is, right, you don't have to keep maintaining in a way. There's less maintenance because, you know, as you're having a pint in a pub, for example, it's learning that day's data.
And that's where the market's going with this AI revolution. Everything is moving to machine learning and AI assistance. That's why I'm so excited about this project, because that's why it's called My Alpha. Like it's like your own personal assistant. It's like your pocket quant, like we've like nicknamed it in the office before. Like this personal assistant, this pocket quant that can improve, revolutionize. I know I'm biased because it's alpha, but I truly do think that it's a system that will truly improve traders' ability to trade and optimize their strategies, etc. And then the analytics in there, we've not gone light on those. We've gone deep dive into so that it analyze your performance, AI enabled, so it can give recommendations. It's a really cool project. I'm really excited for that. Hopefully, couple of Feb, let's say. Maybe Feb.
Close.
It's
What's
close.
really nice is to sit with Sebastian outside of the office in this environment, and to see him come into this podcast and just in that last 2 minutes there, he had a big smile on his face. This is his baby, and he's good. Really
Flourish.
So I think I think the big thing that with the AI, I don't even think we're kind of like in this AI bubble, but AI is going to
it's going to go, it's going to keep going.
But then with My Alpha, it's just primed and ready to grow with
to grab,
it's literally there to move. It's not going to be behind, you know, it's literally
forward thinking.
It's just waiting for the to
forward
to
thinking.
It. Then it can just be ways.
Watch this space.
Absolutely.
We're working very, very hard. It's not going to be long.
Nope.
Some huge changes for Alpha Prime. And,
massive.
2020.
This time next year will be a good.
It's going to be
a good time to sit down and recap all the
and also,
crazy stuff.
Another thing about My Alpha, there'll be like an AI chatbot as well as a trader codes their strategy. Like nobody else really does at the moment. So it's like as you're building a strategy, you have like a kind of co-pilot next to you to help you build these nodes, to help you debug, bring ideas, you know, what other indicators can help. Literally just on screen next to you. That's going to be another thing as well. Didn't mention that. That's something we were talking about.
This will be a fun launch. It's
looking forward to it.
Me too.
It's going to be cool.
It'll be cool to launch.
We are
done.
Done.
Awesome.